Hi, I'm Joss, Very Professionals Real Estate. I find it in my job that I'm asked a lot of questions which are outside of my brief. So we have Knol today from McKenna's, Reed and Lucas to provide some information about subdividing properties and other things relating to your land once you've bought or you're thinking of selling a property. Knol, would you like to just start simply about the processes that go on when people ring you?
Well, just first, Joss, in essence, I'm a licensed cadastral surveyor, which means that I'm able to lodge survey data sets in what used to be Lands and Surveys, now LINZ, Land Information New Zealand. Essentially, our job is about problem solving. So our job is to articulate options to clients and hopefully give them solutions.
Excellent. Can you give me an example of your most common request?
Well, it's a very broad field. Generally speaking though, people are looking to develop because they're looking to generate some income off their property, and there can be a number of solutions to that. Running parallel with that, a good deal of our projects are about where folk are looking to buy property and have found problems, and that's where we interact with land lawyers and various other professionals.
Okay, so would you say that the first port of call, if somebody was wanting to extend a property, to come to you first or go to an architect first?
Well, I would actually wind things a little bit further back and say, why do you want to develop? What's your goal? Okay. And quite probably it's better for you to go and talk to your accountant and a lawyer first. And the reason I say for that is that once we've gone down the land development or subdivisional path and there are any tax issues, it's too late to change. Okay. So if you've got concerns about your asset structure, it's better to have that conversation at the very front. So spend plenty of time at the front working out what your objective is at the end. If you are looking to develop, let's say, subdivide your bare site at the back of your property, which is it's a fairly common inquiry. Yes, initially have a chat with ourselves and we'll look at the site feasibility issues, particularly is there enough room and other things like overland flow paths.
Okay. The other thing that I'd love to ask you is timeframes and just so people can plan, you know, going through resource consent and councils and things like that today. That would be really helpful.
Well, again, a very open-ended question.
Good at those.
Absolutely, the shortest amount of time is really 6 months. Really need to be steeled for more like 12 to 15. Okay. And a good deal of that is reliant on the complexity of the project and things like servicing, wastewater, stormwater, things of that ilk.
Gosh, it's quite a complicated process. I'm going to continue my talk with Knol because he's going to give us a couple of examples of the work progress of a couple of jobs he's done in the last couple of years. So Knol, what's your first one, do you think, that you could share with us?
Well, that was a simple one, well, relatively straightforward 1 to 2 subdivision where a bare site was generated. So the things we look at there initially are servicing, as I mentioned earlier, stormwater and wastewater in particular, and sometimes you have to have a geotech report as well, depending on what the ground conditions are like. So yeah, that process took in the order of 12 months.
Wow. Yeah. So it's not a short process, you actually have to have patience and you have to have your funding in place. How do you work cost-wise? Do you like to have a percentage up front to start your work and then progress payments like a builder does, for example?
No cost up front, but it's progress invoicing or milestone invoicing. Okay. Essentially there's 4 parts to the project. Initial feasibility, then the resource consent, which is a consent under the Resource Management Act, then the various satisfaction of the various conditions, which may be building things on the ground and ground survey work. Then there's sign-off from council and then the final portion going through the registry through LINZ.
Okay, so if I was a client of yours, I could hand over the responsibility of everything to you to say, right, Knol, you're in charge, you project manage everything. As the payments come through from council, you forward those on and I would pay them. Is that how it sort of would work?
It can do. More often than not, we work collaboratively with the client. They may wish to be heavily involved with part of that development process. Typically things like it's better for the owners to drive the process with, say, chorus. And like water connections with water care and things of that nature. So we work collaboratively. We are the best professionals to have that overarching project management role, and we interact with a bunch of other skilled people, land lawyers, architectural designers, engineers, on an as and when's needs basis. So it's a team approach with lots of skilled people doing specific things.
Oh, that's perfect. So you can see that you would need Knol's services, and I look forward to showing you these during a process of email marketing and seminars that are coming up in the near future.